Hey, 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 hey. Happy Saturday. Come on in. We're going to be talking about why it is important for us to really start packing our stuff and getting out of here. And for the most part, I never really kind of talk a lot to you about why you should leave the United States because I pretty feel like you pretty know that it's time to get out of here. But now we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about today how we need to be thinking about it with everything that's going on. The temperature is just getting hotter and hotter going around. Things are not getting any easier. And if you look around, as I was looking on Facebook, as I look on social media, there's a lot of conversations around the SAVE Act. And if you don't know, if you haven't really heard anything about the SAVE Act, the SAVE Act is really something that is about voting rights. But is it? Because, I mean, voting rights was passed a long, long time ago. So now what are we talking about? But I would say this, that we have some really good communication and publicists out there. And the message that's going out there is not what it's really about. And that's why you need to be ready to get out of here. So today I want to talk to the 92%. The 92% of people who kind of saw this was about to happen. The 92% who knew that, hey, if we didn't do something in November 2024 different, that this may be upon us. And because of that, now we find ourselves in a situation where many of us are finding it almost impossible, difficult, unbearable to be in the United States. We're not feeling comfortable. We're not feeling safe. And so what are we going to do about that? Because a lot of us are exhausted. We know that we have already mobilized. We have already done everything we could to get this situation to be something totally different. And so now what? Now what? When the stakes are so high. And this is not the first time that the stakes have been this high. And if you really think about this, it's been before where people have come for our right to vote. This is not the first time. They have come and done different things to stop our voice, to quell our voice, to have us no longer be, or actually, I would say, enjoy the privileges and the rights that we have as citizens. So if you're a Black woman over 40, you know for sure what I'm talking about. And you know right now you are being targeted. You are the most targeted group right now. Because for so long they underestimated you, and now they realize just how powerful your voice is. How powerful your voice is, not just for yourself, but how you rally and get other people to come around. And you have made such a difference in this country. And when we think about how we have flipped different states, that is why they're coming for you. Because the SAFE Act is not about the voter registration. There's this whole hypothesis out there that, oh, this is how we need people to vote. We need to make sure people have registrations on voting. But we already have those laws in place. That already exists. So what this is about is you not having the right to vote. And we've seen it before. This is not any surprise. I don't know how many of you remember the poll tax that Black Americans had to pay when we had to pay a tax just to vote. And we didn't have anything. We were just in slavery. This was just right after slavery. And then they came up with the literacy test, right? That was the next thing they came up with. Oh, that we had to prove that we were literate before we could vote. And I think we need something similar to that right about now, because people have no idea what they're voting for. I think we need to bring back our civics classes. And then they had the grandfather clause that if your grandfather voted, then you could vote. While grandfathers were enslaved, so we couldn't vote. So we see constantly, there are all different ways that are trying to block us from voting. And when we think about that, that means if our voice is not heard in the voting, if things are not going to be taking account for our livelihoods, healthcare, education, these things that we need, then it's going to be a lot more difficult than we know right now to stay in this country. So when a country has shown you, it's shown us that really we're not here to support you, when will we start believing that? When will we start believing that? And so when you think about what we hear around the SAFE Act, I can constantly hear people say things like, oh, why shouldn't we have ID? You need ID, someone said, to buy cough medicine. Why would you not have ID to vote? Absolutely. But do we need ID to vote, or do we need ID to prove that we're American citizens? And if we need ID to prove that we are American citizens, a passport, a birth certificate, your nationalization certificate, just to vote, we couldn't register to vote until we had those things. So you couldn't even register to vote if you couldn't prove that you were an American citizen. So this is not about you proving that you're an American. I'm telling you, it is about you not having the ability to vote. 69 million women are going to be affected because of the name change trap, that your name has to match on the birth certificate of what your current ID is. So if you're married or got remarried, it doesn't match. And it's not just a women thing. 4 million men also do not have names to match their birth certificate. So if you got married, divorced, remarried, changed your name, got adopted, you may not be able to vote. And so when we think about that, we also think about the other older Black people. And it could even be you, who were born in areas where birth certificates were not issued. And now there's a lengthy and very expensive process for you to be able to get evidence that you were born in the United States. All of this, when we don't even have real evidence that non-citizens were voting in our elections. Yeah, okay, we have 39 people who tried to do something like that over 2 decades, but is that enough to stop everybody else? So what I'm telling you, the urgency for us to get out of this country has come like never before. Because if you can't vote to decide how you want to live, how you want to survive, how you want to get your health care, how you want your environment to be, then you have no voice. And if you're in a country that doesn't have any voice, who is ensuring that you don't have a voice, I wonder, do you want to really be there? Of course, your voice matters. Your voice matters so much. That is why they're going through this. Because every time there is a new reform around voting, it's right after something that has occurred that really shown that your voice was powerful. Yeah, like flipping Georgia for Biden, flipping it for the Senate. So these are the kinds of things that are motivating people to cause you to lose your voice. And you keep saying like, well, what does that have to do with me wanting to leave? No, you don't. You can stay. You can stay in that environment. You can stay in this environment. But if never before, if you were thinking about it, you may want to know this is the time to start getting your stuff together. That passport is your passport to freedom. Not only will it take you to other countries, but that's going to be the only way that you're going to have an opportunity to vote. It is one of the few tools that we can use to identify ourselves as American citizens and have the opportunity to go ahead and vote. So we really need to be thinking about getting your passport. And if you don't already have your passport, you need to be going online right now and starting to get that passport. Because if you don't have it, not only will you not be able to travel and get out of the country, if you stayed in the country, you're not going to be able to vote. So I'm just telling you today, if you have been thinking about leaving this country, never before has it been more important for you to start getting yourself aligned, for you start figuring out how you are going to get out. Because if it's not enough for someone to be taking away your right to vote, is it not enough that someone is trying to tell you that your voice doesn't matter? Is it not enough that someone is rigging the system continuously to push you out of this system? You already knew that the system was not built for you. You already knew that they weren't happy about the fact that you were the most educated demographic. But now, more and more every single day, they're doing everything to make your life absolutely impossible. They've taken 500,000 jobs from us last year, and now they're coming for our voice in ways that they haven't before. And so, yeah, they're coming for our voice each one of those times, because if we don't have jobs, we don't have economic power unless we start our businesses. And even with that, you saw the attack that they had on the Freedom Fund, the Freedom, I can't get the name right now, when these women were giving us money so we can start our business. So right now, your passport is going to be your most powerful document for you to live this country, to live in the country, and to leave the country. So I don't know when you're going to start thinking more seriously about it. And maybe you think, oh, it's not really that important. And maybe it's not important to you. But if you have thought at least once or twice, you've been researching, this is beyond researching for countries, looking for countries where you want to go. This is about now creating a pathway for you to go, because the urgency for going has never been higher than it is before. And so the researching of countries, forget about that. Get yourself a passport if you don't have one. Pick yourself a country and start putting something in place so you to move. Otherwise, you may find yourself in a place where you cannot move. We don't know what's in front of us. We absolutely don't know what the next step is. And so you have to find ways to protect yourself. And the beauty is, other countries are waiting for us. They are welcoming us. That's what's happening to now. It's not going to always be that way. We already know that some countries have closed their doors, but there's countries like Ghana, Mexico, Portugal, Panama, Colombia that still have their arms wide open and asking us to come. These countries not only are inviting us in, but they're very affordable to live in. So think about it. Whatever you're paying now, you're probably paying anywhere between $4,000 and $6,000 a month in your living expenses. Why not live somewhere where it's going to cost you anywhere between $800 to $2,500 a month to live, in a place that actually wants you to live there? There's so many pathways for you to move. You can move anywhere from living by a digital nomad. You can just get pensionata visas if you're, in a pension. There's different pathways, but you got to start looking at those pathways. We have got to stop sitting here thinking that things are going to get better, wishing and hoping, and we got to start making plans. Just think about it. Is it 16 million? I can't remember the number, but it's like 146 million Americans do not have a passport. I hope you're not one of them. I hope you got yourself a passport so you can leave. Welcome, Janine. So that you can leave this country when you are ready. Because otherwise, the doors were going to be closing. And when those doors close, it'll be more difficult to get out. So I say to you, whether you're staying to fight the fight, hoping that the SAVE Act is not going to affect you or it doesn't pass. So that's what your role is. You're going to stay to fight the fight, call your senators, get someone, and let your voice be heard. Get your birth certificate, get your passport now before these laws are passed. Because if these laws do pass, you will not have enough time to get those documents to be able to vote, and get connected with other Black voters and making sure that people are educated. It doesn't matter what the other side is saying. This is the best publicity stunt you have ever seen. They're making it about ID, but it's not. It's about stifling your voice, taking away your voice. And it's not even just a Republican Democrat thing. This is about making sure that only a few people have the power to control the government, and you're not one of them. Or maybe you are. I don't know. But I'm telling you, if you're part of the 92%, if you're a Black woman over 40, you're probably not one of the people that they still want to have voting rights. And so you're going to have to think about it. And if you're thinking about leaving this country and exploring, look at all the countries that are waiting for you to come, who are asking for you to come, who are making it so easy for you to come and affordable. Think about that. What country do you want to live in? What environment did you want to live in? Because they're waiting for you. So get your passport if you don't already have it. Start putting your house in order so you can leave. Start organizing your family. And this does not have to be a group trip. Those who don't want to come, you can't force them to come. But you know what? You don't have to stay behind. You can do something for you. For most of our lives, we've done something for everyone else. We've put everybody else first, making sure that they're okay. This time, put your oxygen mask on first. Make sure that you are ready to go. Make sure that you got your funds in order. This is a time not to be making large purchases, getting yourself more in debt. This is a time for you to really be organizing your finances more. So at any time that you can go. We can't say we want to relocate. We can't say we want to travel, and we're still living like we're going to be in the United States forever. You have to kind of be like that person who is saying, hey, I am leaving. And so therefore, what do I don't need? Don't make plans for next year that are not in another country. Your 2027 plans should all be about the new country that you're moving to, not about things that you're going to be doing in the United States, if you're really serious about leaving. But if you're just having as a pipe dream, something that you always wanted to do, you're thinking about it, it sounds like something you think is cute, don't get your passport. Wait and see what happens. But if you know right now that things are getting tighter and tighter, start making that plan. Start making the plan to get out of there. So Janine says, do you have a list of countries that are waiting for us to move? Yeah, so Ghana, Portugal, Mexico, Panama, those countries are so easy for us to get into, depending on what kind of visa, what kind of visa you need. If you're going to be working, if you're going to have a business, or if you're going to be working remote, you can get a digital nomad visa. Most of those countries offer those. Dubai is another country that's really, it's easy to move into. So there's a lot of countries that we can move into easily. We just have to take the move. We just have to do it. All right. Well, thanks for joining me today. I will come back again. Any more questions, drop them in the chat. I will answer your questions. Before I go, let's see if you have any more. I'm going to answer your questions before I go. So if anybody has any other questions, drop them in the chat. I'll go ahead and answer your questions before I go. Any other questions? Thanks, David. Thanks. Anybody has any other questions? We have some people coming in today, so they're getting picked up to the airport. Just want to make sure that they're okay before I go. All right. Well, we want to just make sure we get this information out. We want to make sure that you who are thinking about leaving are actually getting your stuff together, getting and treating this as an urgent moment as it is. I can't stress that enough. I usually don't like to talk about the urgency of it because I think people really know. But as I look more and more on social media, I realize people are clueless about what's happening. I don't know if we're lying to ourselves or we just are hoping against hope. But this situation is not looking really nice. So I want us to get serious about leaving. Till next time, I will see you later. Says I don't see any questions. No one's dropping any questions in the chat. I'm going to sign off for now. Thanks so much for joining.